Read to succeed. Study, buddy. Be diligent, champs. Pick up a book. Go to the library. Rent documentaries. Go to the bookstore. Download those little PDF files that you can do online. Pick up a magazine, a newspaper. Um, Invest. Purchase other primary resources. Get an encyclopedia. And think about your children. I mean, have something laying around that they can get substance from. All right, if you got kids, I remember as a chap, my parents used to have little encyclopedias and little books, and See Spot Run and Frog and Toad are Friends, and my favorite was A Little Engine That Could. You just have little stuff, things that they can read and eat on, and so that where their mind can grow and be imaginative. Read between the lines, y'all. Use your critical thinking to analyze and notice something when it hasn't been said outright. And we do this all the time, but we usually do it for dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. Let's say you got your little garden, you got some tomatoes out there, and you got some greens, some sprouts, and you check your garden at right before sundown around 7, 8 o'clock, and then the next morning you get up and there's big bites in your tomatoes, just big bites, chunks taken out your mint leaves. And then now you gotta think, you gotta investigate. All right, you gotta use your critical thinking. Dang, was it a squirrel? Was it little Timmy that lives next door? Was it caterpillars? Was the plant decaying? Was it a bird? And that's not a good example, but then you think, okay, if I checked it at 7 and I woke up at 6 and saw it, okay, it was between this time, it had to be, because the plants were firing then. Then you gotta think, dang, did I spray the plants with something? Did I plant some marigold around to keep certain pestilence away? Was little Timmy home yesterday? It was any other strange folks walking around the block? You gotta dig deep in your brain and ask a lot of questions, just like Matlock and Kojak and all them used to do. All right. And today, there's no excuse for you not to investigate and think critically, and because we have so many resources, y'all. We have so many resources, no excuse. So when it comes to research and getting information, and even though your information might not always be accurate, but you can get your hands on it. And the average dummy can get on Google. You get on Google, you get on, which I wouldn't advise you going there first, but you get on Google, you go to your library, you check your own desk and closets at home for encyclopedias, dictionaries, thesaurus, and whatever type of books that can give information, magazine, journal, those journal entries, those journal articles, things of that nature. But this is why you cross-check references, so you can further analyze things, so you can come to the truth, or at least closer to the truth as you can. All right. Hell, you could be out. Let's say you down in the woods somewhere, or let's say you far away from a library or a place where you can check your resources. I mean, hell, there's Wi-Fi now. You got Wi-Fi, y'all. You got laptops. You got cell phones. This is the age of information, baby. Info is everywhere. Shoot, y'all won't believe how many things I learned how to do off of the internet. I learned how to get some mother. Well, there's no excuse for you not to be able to find the truth of the matter, or at least dig deeper into the truth of the matter, or at least get closer to it. You know what I'm saying? Like you playing horseshoes. You got your 5 horseshoes. You're clanging until you finally get the horseshoe, man. Until you finally get the horseshoe on the iron stick. And this is good practice that myself, the other L team members, and other folks that I know, and it'll be good practice for you. For example, we'll be debating something, right? Or we'll all have a different opinion on something. And then after we get through our opinions, then we all bring different information. This is how we get down, y'all, when we in our little group sessions. We'll all come with different opinions, and then we'll all have different information, different things we read, different things we heard on something. And then somebody will say all the time, and I love this, even though it tightens lips and it frowns faces, but somebody will say, well, let's look it up. or I'll say, I'm gonna look it up right now. And when you do that, you get to the fact of the matter, baby. It relieves all doubt. It hushes up all hypocrisy. And to say you're gonna look something up is just a great starting point for us to arrive at some facts. Now, everybody might not always agree. Y'all know them people. You can put the facts right in their face. You can get the book, the encyclopedia, the hieroglyph, the writing in the stone, and they just not going to accept it. But, you can't take that personally. That's their bag. They got to carry that. You don't have to carry that. So it's all good. It's the blood's off your hands. You showed them. They can't say that they never heard it or they didn't see the truth or see the facts. You showed it to them. Okay? Now, some people, just like a horse, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. And that's all right. And I'm no different. You know what I'm saying? I've been that way in my personal life many times. I'm not like that now, thank goodness. But I've been indifferent to things. Mother flushes sore right to you. Or they ask questions, well, why would you do that? Why would you say that? Well, why would you think that when such and such happened? And you start thinking, dang, Joker got me in the corner. Like, man, because mother flusher, that's how I think. And after a while, once it settles in, after you let go of your ego a little bit, you realize, like, dang, man, that shit they was kicking with, it was true. They was telling the daggum truth. You can't deny it. You can't deny it, y'all. And it takes courage, y'all. It takes discipline. It takes self-evaluation to come to a realization to certain things. And a lot of times it just takes maturity, that's all. Like we used to say in the 80s, y'all remember this, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm under the influence that any man, any woman, more specifically males or men, any man, any woman, it goes for both, but more specifically men, because we got to be the bearer of truth. We got to be the backbone of the shit that we building and talking about. But any man is incomplete unless he has the courage to seek the truth, to embrace it, and to hone in on his discipline and elevate from there. All right, yo, we could talk about that forever. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to the point of this video. Now, y'all won't believe this. Now, I just saw this video, and I'm sure that people have already did videos about it, and people have already spoken on it, and there's already been a lot of debate about it. But I'm just now getting to it. Now, mind you, the L team is composed of a handful of people, men and women that do work behind the scenes to help set stuff up on the channel. By the way, we finally got a donate button. If you like some of the stuff and want better stuff, we just got a new camera. So donate if you can, man. If not, we still gonna bring it hard and try to elevate as y'all should be elevating. But I'm the most ferocious member when it comes to the love for boxing. We love boxing. Well, actually, Barack probably is, but I'm a hardcore boxing fan myself. We got people in here that do JKD, Taekwondo, Okinawan karate, Tai Chi, people that here went on the L team to do all type of fitness. One dude, Jay New, big shout outs to you, Jay New. He just started doing jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? And, he's gonna be real big coming up with some other L team stuff. But anywho, I saw a recent program, and I shouldn't laugh, but it shit turned out, and it featured Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather is the hot topic, y'all. Being one of the most successful, most skilled, most talked about pugilists of his era. I mean, he's a hot topic, just like how Jack Johnson was in his time, how Joe Louis was in his time, how Armstrong was in his time, Dempsey, Ray Robinson, Ali, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, it was a program on ESPN Deportes, or it was some type of sports Latino program, right? And it was two Hispanic or Latino, or whatever they call themselves, announcers, and it tripped me out because I said, "Damn, they speaking in all Spanish," and I gotta give Floyd Mayweather Jr. credit. I said, "Damn, that joker handled that well," because I know he's not well versed in Spanish. I know he's not bilingual, but the way he just I guess understood their body language, or just was just able just to feel what they were saying and answer in English. They would use Spanish sometimes to Floyd, but mostly to the audience in the TV. But Floyd only used English, so I gotta give him kudos that he played it off well. He kept his cool. But anywho, on this program, they wanted Floyd Mayweather to list his top 5 boxers out of these 10 boxers that they had pictured on the screen. They had like a touch screen. You know how you see NFL Sunday and Bradshaw and Jim Brown, all them, they touching the screen and they moving X's and O's. So they had this touch screen for Floyd, and there was 10 boxers on there. Pugilists, all-time greats in my opinion. Legendary greats in my opinion, pardon me. And they asked Floyd to choose the top 5 out of those boxers. Okay? Those boxers were Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Henry Armstrong, the Brown Bomber, Joseph Louis Barrow, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Roberto Duran, and Sweet Pea, dang, y'all gotta pardon me, Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, excuse me, and there's 2 more, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., and then finally Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself. There were 10 with their faces pictured on the screen, and he had to pick 5 and put them in the top 5 slots. And he selected and ranked his top 5. Now, automatically, y'all, this is opinion. So let's just say none of this is based off of fact. This is just his opinion. And I know he's a student of the game. He knows who these people are because each one he selected, he talked about things in their career and certain things they did and represented. So he's no dummy. He knows exactly who all these dudes are. All right? So he started at number 1 and worked his way down. This joker selected himself and put himself in number 1, right? Then he put Duran at number 2. Then he put Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker at number 3. Then he put Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. at number 4. And then he put Muhammad Ali as 5. Excuse me. And I know plenty of y'all already spoke about this. He was talking about Ali being in only one weight class, and the weight class Ali was in, and you know, he stayed there his whole career. And I'm thinking, disrespectful. A weight class where, and I had to go back and research after I watched this, a weight class where some nights Ali was 20 pounds smaller than his opponents. Some nights where he was 12 pounds bigger than his opponents. And heavyweight is the true weight class. Or heavyweight is the classic, it's the man's weight class. If you the heavyweight champ, you the baddest, roughest, toughest champ. You the champ of champs. You like Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem. And plenty of people have done videos on the heavyweights, y'all. Blood Boxing, Mr. Boxing, D-Style, Boxer Beats and Rounds, and a lot of other YouTubers. And I appreciate y'all because y'all have great information that, you know, I use as resources and stuff. But now on that total list of the 10 we just named, there are 8 undisputed champions out of those 10. Out of those 10 greats, legends we named, well, not all of them are legends quite yet, but all those 10 greats we named, I'll say they're all greats. 8 of them were undisputed. The only 2 on the list who weren't undisputed was Floyd Mayweather Jr. himself and Julio Cesar Chavez. Even though they were world champions, they were never undisputed champions. They were never the tried and true. They were never the original king, ding-a-ling, number 1 of the universe, of the planet, champion. And then this joker got the nerve to put himself atop of that list of those 10 great fighters. He wasn't even undisputed. And then to add to that, everybody on that list was also a world champion. So all 10 of them were world champions, but only 8 were undisputed world champions. But we all know the greatest crown is to be undisputed. Y'all, we know this. So let's use Sugar Ray Robinson as a measuring stick, okay? Now, when we measure greats versus greats, greats versus legends, legends versus legends, demigods versus the gods, you want to use your best measuring stick. And this, in my opinion, is the best measuring stick, which is Sugar Ray Robinson, which is one of the best pound for pound. Now, me personally, he's the best pound for pound. But you know what? I could interchange him with 3 or 4 other pugilists. I could switch Sugar Ray Robinson now as the GOAT with maybe 3 or 4 other pugilists, but that's another video. Okay, so here we go. Sugar Ray Robinson is the measuring stick. Sugar Ray Robinson has fought 18 undisputed champions. Undisputed. And this doesn't include his exhibition with Willie Pep. This doesn't include the dudes he fought with 1 belt or minor titles. This doesn't include the dudes he fought in the amateurs. This doesn't include the frequency of world and undisputed champions he fought. Hell, he fought LaMotta, was it 6 times? And then he fought Fulmer 4 or 5 times. He fought Bobo Olsen 3 or 4 times. So just the combine them 3 world and undisputed champions, that shoot, what's that, 14, 15 times? And this doesn't even include the fighters who had regional and state titles. Now, y'all might not know this, but fighters from different eras, y'all, there were renowned state champions. And sometimes the state champions were bigged up to be better or just as good as the world champions. Specifically speaking, and then other islands and territories as well too. Y'all, we already did videos on this. Pardon me if I sound redundant. But the Midwest champions were looked upon as real good, like the Ohio state champ, the Pennsylvania state champ. They got a rich history in that. The champions from Cuba and the Philippines who traveled over and whooped heads, they territories, they were renowned as real big champs, as, you know, almost on the level or on the level of a world champ. So if we gather information from critically thinking from what we said above and read between the lines, looking at Sugar Ray Robinson's resume, you'll see him fighting state and minor title champions or champions of some sort with some belt, but they were not added to his world champion list of champions he fought. All right, and all in all, again, because you'll go and look up Sugar Ray Robinson, they'll give you these similar numbers, 18, 20, whatever. But then it don't count the frequency as well either. We're using our mind here again. It don't count the frequency of how many times he fought these champions. So all in all, he's probably fought these dudes. If you add in the frequency, those 18 undisputed world champions probably fought them a total of 40 times. You know what I'm saying? So we got to read and think and use sources and analyze and dig deeper. You know, deeper than just clicking on Wikipedia and scrolling to the left on your iPhone. Again, study, buddy. And the reason why I brought up that point is because Floyd was saying something on the program about, yeah, no one's done as long as me, all the champions I beat, which is, he is telling the truth on the champions, on the title holders that he beat. He wasn't quite being honest with his reign. I mean, I think he did have a belt for that long. Nah, I didn't look that up. But he was never undisputed, and he switched weight classes. Mainly, you know, a lot of fighters do that. Now, Floyd did make good statements and factual points, and a lot of what he said was true, and also what he said, he has taken minimal punishment, and he has broken all the pay-per-view records, and he was right. Ali did lose to a young Leon Spinks who only has 7 pro wins. People have already said this on YouTube. Ali took on the young, hungry, game, competitive, you know what I'm saying, eyes on the prize Leon Spinks at 36 years old. I mean, did you do that? Okay then, you know what I'm saying? And mind you, y'all, I do like the fact that, and I respect the fact that Floyd acknowledges, you know, the folks before him that set the bar high to get those high pay-per-view numbers that are the best in history, the most grossing. If you don't notice, Sugar Ray Robinson was the highest paid boxer up until his time. I think he made $500,000 in a night. because he used to do he used to get a majority of the gate, majority of the purse, and then he even had some of his stuff shown in movie theaters. And then Ali was the first to make $1 million. And then Sugar Ray Leonard took it to another level in the 80s. And then Mike Tyson took it to another level in the 90s. And then De La Hoya took it to another level in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then Mayweather just took it to the extreme level. All right. But what else is Floyd saying? Yeah. Then he said, and I think I do kind of agree with him on this. I do believe Ali lost the majority of times to Ken Norton. I will say I think he beat him once. I don't think he beat him twice, but I think Floyd was right on that. And I do believe and recognize after careful examination, y'all don't get mad, but Sweet Pea Whitaker, he really did beat Julio Cesar Chavez. It's another thing Floyd was saying on that program. And he was talking about how Ali stood for a cause greater than himself, for black folks, for people worldwide, etc., etc. You know, Ali was a great humanitarian as well. And he's right. Roberto Duran did go from lightweight to middleweight and was a champion of some sort at middleweight. From lightweight to middleweight, he did hold some type of rinky-dink title even at middleweight. But almost everyone on that list scaled weight classes and fought much bigger competition. Everybody on that list that was on the program, if they weren't already a heavyweight, they scaled weight classes and fought or fought much bigger competition. All right. Hell, Henry Armstrong, y'all know this, had 3 undisputed world titles at the same damn time. Only boxer to ever do that simultaneously at the same time. You know how great 3 undisputed titles. Y'all don't understand the magnitude of this. Man, look here. If McGregor, everybody likes McGregor, right? He's big, talk of the town. That's like saying McGregor has the belt at welter, lightweight, and middleweight. No, welter is 170. He's saying he has the belt at 145, 155, and then 170, which is welter. I can't remember the other 2 weight classes. All at the same time, the undisputed title. You know how difficult that? Do you know how seemingly impossible that is? Only a God can do that. You know what I'm saying? Or a demigod. The only other person who's done something like that in history was Bob Fitzsimmons, but he did that in his career. But he didn't hold all 3 of the belts at the same time, though. And neither did, I just looked this dude up, Barney Ross. But one of his titles was at one of them new codified, like, super lightweight junior welterweight classes. But anyway, before we get off topic, I said all that to say, look, everyone should big themselves up. Everyone should strive to be on the level or better than the greats. But study. Bernard Hopkins told y'all that on one of them Fight Hype, one of them boxingologists, one of those videos, maybe it was ES News, Ellie Seckback or something. Read and you will achieve, y'all. Read and you will achieve. Then the Joker make it seem like he was saying in the program. Now I'm using all this from the program. He said, make it seem like he did it quicker, his rise to the championship, and longer than anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Like he accomplished his feats for a longer and quicker period of time. When Joseph Lewis barreled a brown bomber, who Deontay Wilder gets his name, the Bronze Bomber, from, since they both from Alabama, Roll Tide. Joe Louis has the longest reign of supremacy at the champion, undisputed champion, than any other heavyweight in history, and possibly any other boxing champion in history. I think he does have the longest title reign than any other champion. I know it's true for heavyweights, but I'm not sure for any other boxing champion. It took Sugar Ray Robinson 6 years as a pro to become undisputed champion. It took Muhammad Ali 3 years as a pro to defeat the British champion. I think was Henry Cooper, and then 4 years to become the undisputed world champion in '64. Yeah, when he beat Liston, he won the Olympics in '60. Then he beat the British champion in '63, Cooper, and then he beat Liston in '64 to become the undisputed champion. Then Floyd said he did it in 5 different weight classes, which technically 3 of those weight classes were non-traditional. Now, when we say non-traditional, we mean the ones that were added to the 8 original weight classes. Now, am I being overly critical? Possibly, and probably. But since the man is retired, or he's at least retired for the moment, felt it was safe to make this vid. Now, when Pac-Man retires, and when B-Hop retires, and when, Lord have mercy, when Roy Jones Jr. finally hangs it up, we'll be critical of them as well too. And there's other folks that have retired recently, and to be honest with you, I just don't care enough about him. I mean, like Calzaghe, to me, he retired undefeated. I'm suspect of his career as well too. Granted, I do got to give him the benefit of the doubt of being an undisputed champion. Now, by hook or crook, because there's some controversy with him being undisputed, but just to have all the titles where there's no say, rather it's politics, whatever, damn it, I bow down to that. Every time, undisputed champ, I bow down. All right. Now with Pac-Man and B-Hop and Klitschko and Kovalev and hell, even the Problem, Adrian Broner, they don't come out their mouth ranking themselves higher than the likes of Henry Armstrong, Jack Johnson. They don't come out their mouth. Y'all understand? They might say they're the best, or they're the best ever, like Tyson, but they don't say that they're better than him. Tyson said, "I'm Dempsey, I'm Liston, I'll rip your heart out." He didn't say, "I'll whoop Liston, I'll whoop Ali." Whenever you ask Tyson, he was like, "Man, Ali beat me easy." When they asked Roy Jones, who would you fight, who's the best fight you ever fight, and Roy Jones Jr. himself said, I can't remember what show, he said, it's got to be Sugar Ray Robinson. I want to test my skills against him because he's the best. B-Hop, he's going to school you, and if anything, he's going to take all the great things from the late greats. He's going to take, he's going to take that Susie Q tucking your chin right hand from Marciano. He's going to take the little slick mongoose style shoulder roll from Archie Moe and Ezra Charles and Walcott. He's going to take. He don't say that he's better than them. They don't come up with stats and claims. Look, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, y'all. And forgive me, this is a rant, and I respect Floyd Mayweather Jr. opinion. Do I respect his legacy? Yeah, I do respect his legacy. Would I compare his legacy to the legends of boxing and to the records of boxing? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, no. Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. a charismatic man? Yes. Does Floyd Mayweather Jr. have the skill in the ring and the acumen compared to the other legends? Yes. Is Floyd Mayweather the best ever? In my opinion, no. Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the top 10? In my opinion, no. Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. overall what you call a champion, guts and heart and competition and legacy and fighting style? Could he be compared to the likes of those 10 that they named on that program? Holistically, no. But in certain categories, in my opinion, yes. And I love the way he's a shrewd businessman. Like our Sugar Ray Robinson one. He's a very shrewd businessman. But let's get to the meat and potatoes here. Really, my problem is with Floyd's audacity to say those things he said, which were in the past, y'all. Now, I can't remember what the date was on that video. And he may say something different now. But it's very disrespectful in my eyes. Very disrespectful. Very dismissive of those other greats whose feats he'll never accomplish. Again, disrespectful. Maybe not to y'all, but if you just read and study, buddy, and analyze, like B.I. was telling y'all in them videos, you can see straight through it. And you're supposed to big yourself up. You're supposed to big up your brand. And hell, I big it up. Shoot. If I was on the money team, if Floyd offered me a job today, I'd be like, man, hire me today, Floyd. I'll work. What you need me to do? Change the spit buckets, You need me to take out the trash, but that type of money he got flowing in, hell, like it could probably be a part-time job. 'Cause I do have other shit I got to do. The L team and the kids out here in the community and all that. But if Floyd hired me part-time, mother flusher, I'm TMT. Okay, so don't get it wrong, y'all. You know, we all love successful people, or you know, there's tons of haters out there. I know there's different mind states going on in this new age era, but disrespectful. What's the kid Broner who just fought recently? The dude is arrogant. He's full of himself, and like a lot of great, not just artists, well, yeah, artists, combative artists, you know, other athletes, they have big egos. But Broner, even young, brash, arrogant Broner never came out of his mouth to say he was better than the all-time greats. I mean, how could you, what is wrong with you? If y'all can remember this fight, I know y'all done brought up plenty of times when Floyd Mayweather was saying he was better than Sugar Ray Robinson because he ain't lost the fight, and Emmanuel Stewart was like, no, there's no way, no, he couldn't have said that. They was commentating one of his fights. I think it was the one against, I think Baltimore, yeah, against Carlos Baltimore. I think Floyd hurt his hand in that match. And he was commentating, and Emmanuel Stewart said, no, you can't compare him to Sugar. There's no way he could have said that. There's somebody in his camp, I think it was Uncle Roger. Thank you, Uncle Roger. Told him, hey, look, man, you can't be comparing yourself to Sugar. Then remember, he got off that and got on the Ali tip. Better than Ali. And I'm just thinking, this dude, disrespect. How can you? But look here. Now, he may or may not have read about these past champions extensively like you or I have. But being around boxing, basically being in the sport since a young chap, I know he's heard the stories. I know he's heard the legends. I know he's been schooled or read. You know, I don't know about his reading skills, there's speculation about that, but I'm assuming he read about those legendary great pugilists. I'm assuming he's got all the techniques. He's like a combination of some Walcott, Joe Louis with the precision punching. He's like a combination. The great footwork, the short. I mean, all right, y'all. That's enough for now. Aspire to be great. Be diligent in more ways than one. Study, buddy, so you don't sound silly or uninformed when you make statements or claims. Read to achieve, so you can elevate your mind, so you can broaden the scope of your sight. You know how people have tunnel vision? You don't even want to be looking through a tunnel. You want to be looking at a broad field. You stand in the middle of a field, a pasture, and green pastures, baby. I mean, be able to see all around you. You know, like you got eyes in the back of your head, especially when you make statements or claims. And just learn or read or study how to be like or better than the greats. Now, disclaimer, you're not better than the greats, okay? Bow down at the foot of the masters, so maybe your days upon this earth land can be long and prosperous. You're not going to be better than those dudes that everybody makes those old videos about. You know, the original Walcott and Joe Gans and Jack Johnson and Willie Pep. You're not going to be better than those dudes, all right? But you can achieve to be like them, or possibly if a dude comes along, there's just so many drugs and boxing nowadays. Anywho, what we're getting at is always show respect, all right? Always show respect and always work hard, even if all the odds are against you. All right, you owe yourself, you owe it to your sport, you owe it to your comrades, you owe it to your enemies. Because I can remember even in sparring, I can't remember what coach I was sparring. I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, 2001. And the dude was like, man, it's disrespectful for you to be going half speed with me like this, because not only you disrespecting the art, just for you to not go full throttle, like this is a real match. This is bad right here, because this is how you're going to perform out there. You're taking it easy. You're showing mercy. You know, we warriors up in here. He broke it down much more eloquently than I did. But anywho, you show respect and love when you give it your all. And that's all, folks. Be prosperous. Take care. We love Boston.
How'd you do? Mr. Clay, this is a wonderful name of yours. Was your mother or your father ever interested in the arts or literature?
Well, my father, he's an artist. He's an artist. He's best in Louisville, Kentucky.
Because your brother is named Rudolph Valentino.
That's right.
Your father liked William Shakespeare, I presume, did he?
Well, he read a little about him, but he really wasn't a Shakespeare fan.
Have you studied art yourself?
Well, I can draw a little, but I'm mostly concentrating on fighting. I'm busy knocking out all of these bums. I don't have time to draw.
You're a bit of an actor as well, aren't you, Mr. Clay?
Well, I'm not only an actor. A lot of people think I'm acting, but if they be at that Wembley Stadium June 18th, they'll see that I mean every word I say.
Is this self-confidence in yourself perhaps a publicity gimmick, as I understood and as I've met you now?
A lot of people think it's a publicity gimmick, but you can call it what you want. I have had 180 amateur fights, won them all except 2. I have had 19 professional fights, won them all, of course, knocked out 15, and 13 of those 15 I predicted the exact round. You can call it a gimmick if you want it, but I'm throwing the blows.
And what are your impressions of this little country of ours?
Well, Great Britain is a nice place, but I'm from America and I'm not used to it. The cars are too small, the streets are too narrow. I like open spaces, and I haven't seen as many pretty girls like I do at home.
Are you terribly homesick there?
I can't wait to get out. And a lot of these people are booing me and making remarks at me on the street, and that's just going to make it hard on Henry Cooper.
Well, are you going to finish Henry Cooper so quickly as you said?
Cooper will fall in 5. And not only Henry Cooper, I have a middleweight back here by the name of James Ellis. Your man will fall, right?
Right.
And Don Warner,
And
he's fighting Jim Cooper's brother, and he's going to fall. All of them are going to fall.
Right.
What happens if Cooper happens to fall in 4, Mr. Clay?
Cooper will not fall in 4. Cooper will fall in 5.
You won't hold him up to keep him going till the 5th round?
Well, I'm predicting the 5th round. I'm not predicting 4. If he falls in 1, he just fall in 1. If he falls in 2, too bad. But I'm predicting round 5.
What is your impression of British heavyweights as a whole?
Well, I haven't heard too much about British heavyweights. I noticed he's the British Empire heavyweight champion, but he's not the champion in America. He's just a champion over here among the rest of these so-called fighters. But if he comes to America, he's going to get run out.
You're only 21 years of age now. You've said yourself you're rather a pretty boy, aren't you?
Prettiest fight in the ring today. 180 amateur fights, 15 pros, and I'm as pretty as you, and you don't fight.
Aren't you perhaps afraid that perhaps your pretty looks might get damaged?
Well, the day my pretty looks, the day it even look like they're going to be damaged, I'll retire.
Now, Mr. Clay, it looks as if our British welterweight champion, Brian Curvis, is going to fight Emil Griffiths. What do you think of Griffiths?
Well, I have heard a lot about this Brian fella. I never have seen him fight, so I couldn't make no predictions on it. I heard he's pretty tough, and welterweight's awful fast. But if he's a fast fighter, he'll have a good chance of beating Griffith. And I know Griffith pretty well. And if he beat Griffith, he'll be the greatest fight in the world, because I know a fellow by the name of Floyd Rodriguez that Griffith just beat. And Rodriguez is awful fast. He's the prettiest thing on 2 feet for welterweight, and Griffith beat him. So if this fella Brian come over and beat him and Griffith, then I have to say he's the greatest.
Now, you say you're going to beat Mr. Cooper. But what then, Mr.
I want that big ugly bear, Sonny Liston. I want him bad, and I can't wait. And he must fall in 8 to prove that I am great.